Plastic Conference continues. We will, of course, bring you more from John Stones in the next hour. But we have a guest, Dee Caffari from Turn the Tide on Plastic, moved off the bottom of the overall leaderboard and secured 6th place in the Volvo Ocean Race. We've been following it, of course, here on Sports News. It seems to have gone on for such a long time, but we're glad to have you with your feet firmly on the ground, out of the boat, the only female skipper as well to be part of the race. Have you had time to reflect on it?
I literally only got back just a couple of days ago, back home, so it's really nice being home. It's been a year away. I asked the whole team to give me a year of their lives, so it's a long time, it's quite intense. So we're just enjoying kind of being at home, and it'll take a while for it to sink in, I think.
Yeah, I bet it will, that's for sure. As mentioned, you were the only female skipper in the race, the first woman to sail single-handedly and non-stop as well around the world in both directions. So where does that achievement rank for you?
Well, I think this latest project with a young team, predominantly 80% of them under 30, a mixed crew, 50-50, and with a sustainability message that's just so gathering such momentum now, is right up there, and something we want to continue the momentum of. And I've seen such a huge growth in the crew that I know they can go on and do some great things. So maybe we'll all sail together in the future.
Yeah, let's hope so. You mentioned there it wasn't just about competing. The Turn the Tide on Plastic yacht also teamed up with Sky Ocean Rescue as well for a campaign about plastic pollution in our oceans. It's been quite shocking what we've been watching back here, but you've seen it firsthand. What did you see? The
reality is it is bad. You see a lot of macroplastics, be it helium balloons, bottles, bottle caps, plastic buckets, and then we do a lot of beach cleans where we are, so we're picking up straws and cotton buds, and we now know that that gets broken down into microplastics because we had an analyzer on board.
What happens now then with that?
So it's the first time that data's ever been collected, and the raw data for the first time now can't be ignored. Even in the middle of the Southern Ocean in a place called Point Nemo, which is the furthest from land, there's microplastics present. So that's coming from the breakdown of plastics in the ocean and being carried on ocean currents. So it now is real data that has to be addressed, and that's helping form legislative decisions and change and actioning change.
How much was actually part of that in the decision-making to go and do this race and make sure that you had that as well?
It was an important part. We wanted to do the race and we were a competitive team, but we also felt a huge responsibility for amplifying the message that was out there, using Sky Ocean Rescue to help us do that, but also have the machine where we were actually helping science and environmentalists come together with sport to try and create a bigger picture and a greater understanding. So that was as much as important to us as the racing was.
Absolutely. How can other sports follow?
It's tough, and now having to absorb it and live plastic-free for a year almost, there are some inevitable plastics that you can't be without, but it is about the public asking for change, demanding change, and making events and organisers and suppliers create change. So there's lots of small steps being made. In the year I've been away, I've been overwhelmed with the momentum that's gathered, and straw seems to be the big one. Like plastic straws are being replaced with paper straws or no straws.
Bamboo as well.
And there's lots of alternatives. There's a lot of innovation out there, and it's about us recognising that technology and innovation and embracing it and accepting change. We're creatures of habit, so things take a long time, but we do need to address it.
Yeah, I just think you've been part of that is quite brilliant. Thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure.
I'm sure we'll hear lots about you as we continue, of course, following that and making sure we get rid of plastics.